Good day folks, Sean here from Air Photography. So today DJI has launched the new Osmo Action 5 Pro. It has a lot of new features and enhancements, and I think this could potentially sway a lot of GoPro users to finally make the switch. If you're a regular to my channel, you know I've been a big fan of the Action 4. It's been my go-to action camera for the past summer, and that's mainly due to it being a stable platform. It's reliable, it doesn't overheat, and it captures really good footage. Now throughout this video, I'm going to be showing samples that I've captured on the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. And just so you're aware, nothing has been graded or color corrected. Most of the content was filmed in auto. I just want to leave it raw and natural, and that way you can see what the capabilities of this camera are. So let's start with the physical attributes of the camera. It has the exact same form factor, which is a good thing. That means it's going to be compatible with existing gear. So if you own things like waterproof housings, different frames, ND filters, all those accessories are compatible with the Action 5 Pro. Now with that said, there are some major differences with the hardware. First of all, we now have dual OLED screens. The back screen has been increased in size, you can see here compared to the Action 4. That larger screen is going to be important because it makes it easier to navigate through the menus, frame your shot, and to preview your content. On top of that, the front screen is slightly bigger, which again will make previewing it from the front a little bit easier. And I must say that those OLED screens look absolutely fantastic. Now, one little minor tweak that they've done to the power and the quick switch button, you can see they've increased the size when compared to the Action 4. And again, just a small little thing, but an important one. That makes turning the camera on and cycling through the modes a little bit easier, especially when you're wearing thick, heavy gloves. The internals also got a big boost this year with a new 4nm chip that's going to increase the processing power, allowing for some of the new features. On top of that, we got the next gen 1/1.3 inch sensor. This new sensor allows for 4K 60 frames per second high dynamic filming. It increases the low light capabilities, allowing for 13.5 stops of dynamic range. So for those of you who are going to be using your Action 5 for capturing in low light scenarios, you'll definitely enjoy that low light boost. Now when it comes to battery performance, we get a big boost when it comes to recording time. DJI has introduced a brand new 1950 mAh battery for the Action 5. This is going to increase record time. According to DJI, filming at 1080, you can record for up to 4 hours. Now, recording time is going to vary depending on frame rate and resolution, but in my testing, I was able to record at 4K 30 for 2 hours and 43 minutes, which is absolutely incredible. At 4K 60, I was able to record for 2 hours and 5 minutes. The best thing is that these batteries are backward compatible with the Action 4. So you can use these new batteries in the Action 4 and vice versa. You can use your Action 4 batteries in the new Action 5 Pro. Now, of course, battery performance will be different in the different cameras, but it's really nice that DJI did make them backward compatible. Now, when it comes to charging, they're all still quick charge compatible. In my testing of the new batteries, I was able to have them up to 40% in 10 minutes. And to get them up to 80%, it took 24 minutes. A full charge to 100% took 57 minutes. Something new with the Action 5 Pro is that we now have internal storage. The Action 5 Pro comes with 48 gigabytes of internal memory, and that's a really nice feature because if you're out filming and your memory card fills up, or worse yet, you forgot a memory card, you're always going to know you have 48 gigabytes of storage available on the camera. Within the settings, they have a nice memory management area. You can easily switch back and forth between recording to internal memory or the memory card. And from that same menu, you can format both the internal memory and the memory card. Now, another feature of the Action 5 Pro that a lot of people are going to be very happy with, we can now pair two DJI Mic 2s to the Action 5 via Bluetooth. With the Action 4, we could pair one, but with this new upgraded model, we can now connect two, and that can be very important in some scenarios. Of course, you still have the option of connecting the receiver directly to the camera if that's your preferred method, but being able to connect two microphones directly via Bluetooth is a great upgrade. Now let's go ahead here. We're going to take a look at some audio samples of the built-in microphones and then with the DJI mic connected to it. We're also going to test out the wind noise reduction. So right now I'm going to do some audio samples of the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. Right now I'm recording with the built-in microphones, and I always find that DJI does a really good job when it comes to audio on their action cameras. And I've stated that in past reviews of the DJI action cameras, the Action 4, the Action 2. I find that they have a little bit better audio than a GoPro. Having good audio on an action camera can be important. Now, ideally, if you're going to be using it for vlogging, you're going to be connecting a microphone to it to get the best audio. But sometimes that's just not convenient, and sometimes you might be doing some impromptu vlogging. So having good audio is really important. Again, right now this is audio coming directly from the built-in microphones. I've got the camera mounted on my chest. We're going to go for a bike ride here, and that way we can check to see how it does with handling wind noise. I'm going to be riding on my e-bike, and there's a lot of wind going across the camera and across the microphones, so it'll be a good test to see how well it does. So right now I am traveling at 28 kilometers an hour, so there's a good amount of wind going across the camera. And how does the audio sound? You know, this can be important again if you're doing any type of bike vlogging. Ideally, if you're going to be doing moto vlogging, you're going to connect the microphone anyways. But again, an impromptu bike ride, you want to do some commentary, you know, or you're just outside filming on a windy day, you know, having good wind noise reduction is extremely important. And I find the Action series does a really good job with it. So now I'm going to power the camera off and I'm going to connect my DJI Mic 2, and we'll do an audio sample how it sounds while bike riding using the Mic 2. So now we are recording audio on the DJI Mic 2 connected via Bluetooth to the Action 5 Pro. And this is an amazing setup. It's super minimal. You don't have to plug in a receiver. And for situations like this, it's really ideal because you don't want all that extra equipment. You know, if you're mounting it on your chest, you know, it's a little more fragile that way. And it just works really, really well. Of course, you do have the option of connecting the DJI Mic 2 receiver directly to the camera if you want a little bit more range, or, you know, you're finding you're getting some interference. So just a really nice, simple way to get good audio while you're doing things like this, activities like this, or you're moto vlogging. It's going to give you better wind noise reduction because we have that screen or the wind muff that we can add to the microphone. And yeah, just a nice simple solution. If you're a person who does a lot of filming and a lot of transferring over to mobile devices, you'll be happy to know that the Action 5 Pro is equipped with Wi-Fi 6.0. So you can now get transfer rates of up to 80 megabits per second. That's compared to the Action 4 that had version 5.0. The maximum for it was 30 megabits per second. So we're getting over double the transfer speed, and that's going to be very important to some users. With the Action 5 Pro, we get some new filming modes. One is a brand new mode. It's a tracking mode. With this new mode, it helps keep a subject centered in the screen, whether you're filming yourself or filming somebody else. Let's just take a quick look at how that works. The DJI Osmo Action 5 has a new feature called subject tracking. Basically, the camera is going to keep the user in the center of the screen. And this can be especially beneficial when you're using the Action 5 Pro for things such as vlogging. If you've ever vlogged with an action camera, you know, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to keep yourself centered. If you're not paying attention, you know, you're looking around, you're doing some commentary, sometimes you get home and you look at the footage only to find out it's not framed very nicely. So with this new feature, you know, that's no longer an issue. It'll always keep you centered. When paired with something like the DJI Mic 2, you now have a simple, streamlined vlogging solution. Now, this feature is limited to 2.7K, but if you're going to be recording a vlog for social media, 2.7K is more than adequate. So yeah, a really nice new feature. On top of that, another new mode is Super Night Mode. This new mode is designed to help capture in low light footage. I've got a few samples here showing some of the low light performance, but I am making a dedicated video all about the low light and how to capture the best footage. DJI has increased the waterproof capabilities of the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro. You can now go all the way down to 20 meters. On top of that, they've added something really interesting. It now is capable of reading pressure and altitude. So if you're a scuba diver, a hiker, you're parachuting, you can get all that information right on the screen. You can set it up in the settings, what information you want displayed, what activity you're doing. When you're diving, it can display the pressure and the amount of time you've been underwater. And on top of that, it can actually detect when you go in the water and can automatically start recording. So that's great for scenarios where the camera's out of reach or you're holding equipment and you can't stop and start recording. As soon as you go in the water, it will automatically start to record. Now, another interesting feature that they've added is a new audio backup feature. For example, if you're recording with the DJI Mic 2, either connected via Bluetooth or with the receiver plugged in, it's going to make a backup recording using the built-in microphones. It becomes a file stored on the memory card alongside the video. It's just a nice simple way to have a backup audio track. And not only that, even if you're using the built-in microphones to record audio, it still will create a separate audio track if you have that feature turned on in the settings. You can turn that feature on and off as your needs change. There's a new always on feature that's going to display some basic information about recording. Of course, you can go into the settings and disable that if you wish. You can even go in and change the way it looks to customize it to your own needs. One thing that I wish they would add to it is a battery meter as well. Hopefully that's something they can do with a firmware update. Now, a couple of small changes they've made, but very useful. First of all, we have a new charging graphic. When the camera's powered off and you plug it into power, you're going to get a graphic on the front screen and on the back screen, showing you a percentage so you know exactly how much longer it's going to take to charge. Another minor change they've made is how you change the field of view. Before, we would go to the side menu and we would set our field of view there. But now when we click on the bottom menu to bring up our resolution and frame rate, at the top right hand side, that's now where we set our field of view and our stabilization. You see on the right hand side we have our field of view, and on the left hand side we have the type of stabilization. Again, just a minor change, but it's much more convenient to be able to go in and change all those settings in one place. The Osmo Action 5 Pro is fully compatible with Gyro Flow, so if you're going to be mounting this on an FPV quad, you're going to be able to capture and then stabilize it in Gyro Flow. I don't really fly FPV, I fly the Avata, so I did mount my Action 5 Pro on it just so I can show you some samples of what it's going to look like after it's been stabilized in Gyro Flow. Now, stabilizing your footage in Gyro Flow isn't necessarily just for FPV footage. If you have any really shaky footage and you want to be able to fine tune it and set the parameters yourself, you can turn off stabilization on the camera and then bring it into Gyro Flow and stabilize it there. Gyro Flow does actually a really good job and can make your shaky footage extremely stable. Now, when it comes to stabilization, of course, the DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro has all the stabilization modes such as Rock Steady Plus. It also has Horizon Steady and Horizon Balance. Now, if you're new to the Action 5 and you're not quite sure what Horizon Steady and Horizon Balance is, basically with Horizon Balance, that'll keep your horizon level even when the camera's tilted up to 45 degrees. Once you get over 45 degrees, then it can no longer keep the horizon level. But for everyday filming, if you want to keep your horizon perfectly level, it's a great option. Horizon Steady is very similar, except it will keep the horizon level even if the camera turns a complete 360 degrees. Now, when filming with that Horizon Steady, the max resolution you can set is 2.7K. Now, as mentioned, the form factor hasn't changed, the magnetic mounting system hasn't changed, so all your existing magnetic mounts and the magnetic ecosystem are fully compatible with the Action 5 Pro. And they've launched some new accessories this year to go along with it, including this new battery handle. And this thing's actually pretty interesting. Not only is it a battery handle, it's also a microphone adapter. When you purchase it, you get this extra door that just snaps in. It comes with a magnetic mount and a ball head. And then you just plug in the power cable, and that's going to feed extra power into your camera. We have a built-in tripod if you need to set it down, capture a time lapse, or do some vlogging. There's a 1/4-20 here at the side for attaching accessories, and at the bottom, we've got a power button to power the camera on, a record button, quick switch button, so we can easily cycle through the different filming modes, and we have a C button here that can be used to switch the screen from front to back, whichever one you're going to be using as a touch screen. Well, what's really interesting with it is if we lift up this rubber flap at the back, we have a USB-C port for charging, but we also have a microphone port. So if you want to connect a wired mic to your Action 5, you can just plug it directly in there. Now, you will have to attach some form of cold shoe for mounting the mic, but I think this is going to be a great solution for vloggers. You're going to have lots of power between the new upgraded batteries and this battery handle, paired with either a DJI mic or a hardwired mic. This is going to be such a beneficial tool for vloggers and people out creating content. So yeah, folks, that is the new Action 5 Pro. If you are thinking of purchasing this camera, perhaps this is going to be your first action camera, make sure you're subscribed to my channel as I will be covering it fully over the coming weeks and months. We're going to have different tutorials, tips, and tricks. We're going to have a beginner's guide for those who have never used one before. And of course, we're going to do follow-up reviews and demonstrations and comparisons. So definitely stay tuned for that. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. Hopefully you enjoyed it and found it had value. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.